Well, it's certainly great to see everybody. I just came from a kind of a post-signing day deal over at Henke Hall, and saw a big group of fans and alums, and kind of just say the same thing I said over there. You know, it's great to be home. Bloomington, Indiana University has always been home, even though as a coach you kind of get maybe, I don't want to say sidetracked, but you have other opportunities in life and you go other places. IU has always been home. I've got great memories of this place as a student athlete, and my wife always says, everything happens for a reason, and I was able to take another job a few years back and maybe, get out of my comfort zone a little bit and go to a different place in the country and recruit a different area and see some different things, and I know that I've grown. I know that I've learned a lot, and those are things that I think I can build on and add back to this program. I've kept close tabs on Coach Wilson and the Hoosiers from afar, and I can tell you this, there's great respect out here for what he's building, and the opportunity to come in with a guy like Tom Allen and get with these current defensive coaches and get that side of the ball going. That's really what it boils down to. You guys know what I'm talking about. There wasn't a better offense in the country this past year, and but I know this: you can't just go out and try to outscore people each and every weekend. And so, like I say, great challenge in coming in. I'm excited to work with Tom. He's a guy that I've known for a long time from his days of being a coach at Ben Davis. I told Kevin, the day after he hired Tom, I said, you couldn't have hired a better guy. He hit a home run, and like I said, I'm just excited to be a part of this, excited to be home, and let's get this thing rolling. We already have the past couple days. I've hit this thing running. You can tell these kids are locked in and focused and excited to an extent for what they were able to accomplish last year, but they all know that they left some things on the field too. So that's the challenge moving forward, get the defense up to speed with the offense, and great days ahead. So with that, love to take some questions and go from there.
Mark, I guess since you've been a part of Indiana for so long in a variety of ways, why has it been so difficult to get defense to the level that it needs to be, and then why did you feel that you and the other coaches are going to be able to get that done?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that's $1 million question. I think if there was an easy answer out there, maybe it would have been fixed a long time ago. I really don't know. I know that defense has become harder and harder through the years. The offenses out there become very creative, and just with the game the way it is today, it's presented more challenges. But I don't know, to be honest with you. I mean, that's an honest answer of why it's been so long, because I was a part of some really good defenses here back in the day. Now the game was a little bit different. I don't know if I would survive very long in today's game. I liked it when linebackers were really kind of in the box and it was a little bit more traditional. You still see a little bit of that, with some of the teams that you play, but it's a more wide open game, and I think the challenge is always to go out and you want to find athletes. You want to find guys that obviously that can run and make plays, whether they're a down lineman, a linebacker, a DB. You got to find the athletes. You got to find the talent base, I do know this, that Tom's going to bring a great plan to Bloomington. He's going to bring great passion and energy, and maybe it's as simple as that. I think the pieces are in place. I really do, and it's been done before, and it'll happen again. And the time is now. That's kind of our approach. But I don't know the reason why. I really don't. Like I said, there's good defenses played all over the country, and I think one thing I did learn at A&M, we struggled the first 2 years I was there, and there were a variety of reasons, but it was similar to this. We were trying to, we didn't want to outscore people, but that's what it was. And we made a change a year ago, and we got simple. It was a more simple plan. We did less. And I think the kids knew what the plan was. They knew what we were going to hang our hat on, and we would add more as we became more comfortable with the system. But at the end of the day, we didn't do too much, and we coached the kids hard, and they believed in the system. And they went out and executed for the most part. And I think it can be as simple as that. You want to give these kids, what they can handle. You want to go into a game with enough ammunition to be able to, to counteract these high-powered offenses. But at the end of the day, they've got to go out and execute, and they've got to believe in you and your staff. So there's no doubt that Tom can bring that to Indiana football.
You touched on there a little bit. You spend a lot of time in the Big Ten, but what do you feel like you bring back from the SEC and your time, your experience at A&M?
I think, again, just recruiting a different part of the country. You know, football down in the state of Texas, football down south is year-round. You know, I told my daughters this when we left 3 years ago. I said, football down in Texas is kind of like basketball is, you know, here in the state of Indiana. But I just think, you know, the philosophy of going out and recruiting speed at all positions, I think that's the one thing the Southeastern Conference, maybe from top to bottom, is a very fast conference. You know, you've got to go out and get athletes regardless of what position they're at. You know, I just think there's different things personally from you know what you do in the program and how you coach kids and there's a lot of things I've been able to take. But I think again, just getting out of my comfort zone was one thing that I felt like I needed to do 3 years ago. Go recruit a different part of the country. Go be in a different conference, you know, and I think just those experiences and things that I've seen and been a part of have helped me grow. But, you know, I'm excited to be back. It's a great opportunity. I think the opportunity for me to come in and add to what Tom wants to do and coach the whole defensive line. I've got great passion and energy about Indiana University, and I think those are the things I'll bring back here at IU.
You said Tom Allen was a home run hire, talked about his energy. What are the other factors that makes you say that?
Well, I think you just look at Tom, his coaching career. You know, he started off at a small high school down in Florida. He eventually made his way back to Indiana. You know, he grew up here in the state. Was part of an outstanding program there at Ben Davis, one that I've seen from my time as a student athlete at Carmel. You know, going against some of those great Dick Dullahan teams that he had there at Ben Davis. And I got to know Tom in the recruiting process back when I worked at Purdue, and just would come in there and knew him obviously as a D coordinator, then watched him take over a program. That's not easy. You know, it's not easy to take over, especially from a legend. You know, when he did it, you know, seamlessly. And then I can remember our talks and conversations when he thought about jumping into college football. And to do it maybe a little bit later than a lot of guys make that move, there's challenges there. But you know what? He didn't miss a beat from starting at Wabash and then, you know, hooking up with Hugh Freeze and making those moves from Arkansas State to Ole Miss. Obviously, our paths crossed on the recruiting trail when I was at A&M and he was at Ole Miss, and we would see each other up in Dallas and talk and whatnot. Again, there's just really was a great appreciation on my end for what he's done and then making that move. You know, it's a little bit of a gamble to be the head high school coach at a very, very prominent program here in the state of Indiana to roll the dice and really start off at the bottom again. But you know what? He rose to the top. You know, and look at where he is today. He's a future head coach waiting to happen. And again, I just in the 2 days so far that I spent with him, just his passion, his energy. He's a very, very caring person. His family, his faith, those are things that he's all about. And those are things that resonate with me because I feel like I'm the same type of guy. So you know, those are a lot of different things, but again, there's no doubt in my mind that he's the right guy, you know, to lead this defense, and I'm excited to be a part of it.
I know you recruited a couple of the D linemen that are here, Big Ralph, I think Patrick, Dockery. Do you have a feel for any of the other guys that you'll be working with?
You know, just a couple days, I've watched him run and lift and get after it, and that's the one thing. I think sometimes it's hard, maybe as a head coach, to really see how far the program has come. You know, since Coach Wilson took over in 2011, it's a different looking team. You know, they're not out there screaming and yelling to get these kids to buy in and give them the energy, the effort that they need on a day-to-day basis. You can tell the leadership is a lot different today than maybe where it was a few years ago. It's a well-oiled machine. And like I say, I walked in early Monday morning at 6 a.m. And the other part of this whole thing is Coach Caton in the weight room. That was a grand slam. And just to watch him interact with those kids the past couple days, the plan that he has in place, you would have thought, and this is what I thought, this looks like a guy that's been here for well over a year. He's got his program established, you know, not just a couple of weeks, which is what it's been. I would have thought if I was just an average person off the street that Coach Caton had been here for at least a year. So that to me are the subtle things that I've been able to see, you know, just watching these kids run, lift, get after it. I'm going to have some time tomorrow for some one-on-one meetings. I've talked with Ralph a little bit, he being one of the, you know, the seniors up front. Again, I know Ralph better than everybody, better than anybody because of our relationship in the recruiting process. You know, it's important to Ralph, and I know it's important to the rest of these defensive guys to get this thing going in the right direction, and that's what's fun. You know, it's I mentioned my first couple of years down at A&M. You feel a little bit empty when you walk in after a game and you outscore somebody 45 to 42. You're still happy you win the game, but you don't feel like maybe you've contributed what you should have to the victory. And that's what we got to get. We got to get our guys fighting and scrapping and clawing to get that extra stop or two, to get that turnover. You know, so you know we can win those close games, and that's what the plan is. So not a lot of specifics. I know there's some talent up front. You know, we got to. We're going to a new system. We're going to more of a four-man front versus maybe the 3-4 base that they've had here for a couple of years. So, you know, we maybe got to get creative with that fourth, you know, that fourth down guy, that defensive end position that maybe has been a stand-up guy, and that's one of the challenges of coaching. You know, if it were easy, everybody would sign up and do it. So, looking forward to getting that done here the next few weeks. We get into spring practice and going from there.
When it comes to recruiting, I don't know if it's too early, but I know before you had ties in Chicago and was in Indiana. Have you guys established what I know Coach Pat's kind of been doing that area. Is it going to be kind of shared, or are you going to have a different area since you've had some new areas to work in?
Well, that's a good question. I think, you know, Tom being an in-state guy, obviously, with his Ben Davis roots and growing up in Newcastle and me at Carmel and recruiting the state for a long time, I think we'll certainly utilize those ties and relationships. And you know, so much now, I mean, guys have areas, but then you crossover and position recruit a lot, and that'll continue to happen, you know. But specific areas, we haven't ironed those out yet. But I tell you, we've done a ton of recruiting. I know on the defensive side of the ball, I'm sure the offense the same way, but we've probably spent a good 3-4 hours just watching, you know, high school kids video the past couple of days, on top of getting everybody on the same page from a playbook standpoint. So, you know, there hasn't been a whole lot of downtime, which is good. But it's the lifeblood of your program and the most important thing. So, you know, this will be a big year for us up front, especially, you know, to bring some kids in to, you know, to add from a depth standpoint, and hopefully get those, especially those edges, those defensive end positions, you know, with going to a four-man front. You want that speed and athleticism on the outsides, and obviously those big athletic guys inside as well. So. But again, nothing defined yet.
Thanks, Mark.
All right.